Welcome back to the program. Japan and Germany are limiting or phasing out reliance on nuclear power after the Fukushima accident, move that could raise petroleum prices, but most of the rest of the world is undaunted in its pursuit of nuclear energy. Energy-hungry developing nations such as China, India, Mexico, and Iran are moving forward on plans to building more nuclear plants, even as authorities around the world intensify safety inspections of existing plants after Japan's March 11 disaster. Initial fears that erupted in the wake of the crisis threatened to derail the nuclear renaissance of the last several years have largely subsided. Many of the 30-plus countries with nuclear energy programs continue to promote them as a way to combat pollution and global warming. Despite radiation risk and questions on what to do with nuclear waste, Chinese officials say they are revising their regulations to make sure no plants lack high exterior walls or access to emergency power, problems that contributed to the crisis unleashed at Japan's Fukushima Daiichi plant when a tsunami knocked out vital cooling systems. Ensuring radiation leaks have forced the evacuation of 80,000 residents. Beijing has said it will forge ahead with an ambitious scaling up of nuclear power. China has 13 nuclear reactors in operation, more than 25 under construction, and even more under consideration, according to the World Nuclear Association. The expansion is necessary, officials say, to fuel an economy that is overwhelmingly dependent on coal and demands more energy as more Chinese enter the middle class. India, which has also stepped up safety measures, is championing nuclear power as a clean and environmentally friendly alternative to polluting coal-fired power plants. It aims to increase the share of nuclear energy from 3% to 13% by 2030. It is accelerating a 25-year plan to phase out nuclear energy. Now the country's leaders seem to determined to reach the goal as early as 2020. Chancellor Angela Merkel, a previous proponent of nuclear energy, said Tuesday that Fukushima had changed her attitude. Japan, like Germany, is a developed nation with strict safety rules, but nevertheless, there was a chain of events that wasn't expected, she said. And while Germany isn't prone to quakes or tsunamis, it could fall victim to events we didn't previously view as likely or possible, Merkel said. Prime Minister Naoto Kan announced Tuesday that Japan will scrap its plans to raise that to 50% by 2030. He said the government will promote renewable energy such as solar and wind and further step up conservation. Japan, already grappling with electricity shortages with several nuclear plants taken offline, is likely to turn to oil and natural gas to meet the energy shortfall that could mean higher energy prices globally, and several experts said.
Japan's Prime Minister Naoto Kan said on Tuesday that he will give up his salary until the nuclear crisis in the country is over. He also said he would review the country's energy policy and consider other energy sources like wind and solar cell. Kang said he would give up his prime minister's salary, which is 1,636,000 yen a month, but he would still receive his lawmaker's salary. The Prime Minister's announcement comes the same day that about 100 residents who had been evacuated from an area close to Japan's Fukushima Daiichi nuclear plant were allowed to return home for a short visit to gather belongings. After donning protective suits to guard against radiation, the residents were allowed to go to their homes in the village of Kawashi. They were only allowed one small bag and could stay in their homes for 2 hours. For some, this was the first time they had been home since April 22nd, when the Japanese government issued the mandatory evacuation from a 20-kilometer area around the nuclear plant. Also left behind were pets. Residents may be able to go back and get their pets in the near future, officials said. After 2 hours at their homes, residents were taken to a base to undergo examinations for radioactive substances. The disaster has led to mandatory evacuations of about 78,000 people living within 20 kilometers of the plant. People living another 10 kilometers away, or at least another 60,000 people, have been ordered to remain sheltered.
Ministry of Railways said that Beijing-Shanghai high-speed railway was put into test operation on Wednesday. The test operation includes trains of 11 pairs, among which 7 pairs from Shanghai Hongqiao to Beijing South Railway Station, 2 pairs from Jinan to Beijing South Railway Station, and another 2 pairs from Shanghai to Jinan. The Ministry of Railways organized Beijing, Jinan, and Shanghai Railways Bureau to confirm operation mode of the 2 speeds and arrange 90 pairs of CRH with operating mode of non-stop, interprovincial stop, and crisscross parking. The Railway Department will optimize operation plan further and complete operation diagram soon. Facilities of Beijing-Shanghai high-speed railway have been installed and debugged so far. Railway Department will implement rescue drills under bad weather conditions and malfunctions of facilities before official operation, as well as further details the emergency response plan.
Coming up, we have a special report on is it sinful to be rich and many Park Hill in around Asia with Asian News Network.